Alright guys, Bethesda just dropped the reveal for Starfield and here we are discussing about it. So these are my top 5 things that I liked about this reveal and the 5 things that do concern me a little bit. But before we get on with the video, I would just like to say if you like the video then press that like button and also do subscribe to my channel for more content. Anyway, let's go. The first positive that I noticed from this game is honestly the music. The music, in my opinion, is just excellent in this game, so far from what I've seen in the reveals. So yeah, the soundtrack is looking real good and of course you can hear it playing in the background right now, so there's that. So after that major point, the second point I would like to discuss, which is also a positive, is the character creation system. So now the character creation system includes a lot of things this time. So obviously the appearance is one thing, but also traits for the characters, and I'm also going to club the skill system into this as well, because essentially that is just part of a character. The characters themselves, the character models, they look okay. I wouldn't say really it looks next gen. In fact, nothing in the game really screams next gen to me, but I've never been the type to be snobby about graphics. As long as it looks decent enough, I'm fine with it. I am more concerned about the exploration, about the gameplay and those things. So yeah, if it looks good enough, it's fine for me. So other than that, they have added this new traits thing. So it's a trivial thing. For example, one of the traits was that when you are in space, you will have more health points, but when you're in the ground, you will have less. That is the sort of risk-reward system. That's how they balance these traits. So they will have a positive effect and a negative effect somewhere. So that's what you need to do with these traits. So I like that there is some additional amount of personalization for the character. Other than that, let's move to the skill system. The skill system to my eyes looks like it's lifted straight from Fallout 4. It's not exactly like that, but it seems that way. Though the one thing that they have added, which I feel like is a good thing, is skill progression. Now what they did here is that when you unlock a skill, the next thing that you do is now you have to upgrade your skill. And the way you upgrade your skill is by simply playing the game and performing certain actions. So like say killing a certain amount of enemies. So to me, that just feels like the more you play the game, the stronger you will get, because the more your skills will become upgraded. And it will also maybe ensure you play a particular playstyle. So say you select a skill for a particular playstyle. Now the more you stick to that playstyle, the better your character will get at it. So to me, that just feels like an additional layer on top, and it feels like it should work well. Now of course, these things are just revealed. We haven't played the games and we never really know how things are going to work out up until we play the games. So yeah, we don't know how well this thing will work. I just feel this will work well. The next positive is the building system. Now the building system has been expanded from what I saw. We saw a top-down view while they were building one of the outposts, and Todd Howard did say that you will be able to build outposts in multiple planets, and thus you can probably set up a network of outposts, and you can farm various resources and you can use those resources for crafting. Now for crafting, I did see on screen for a brief moment that there was a blueprint of a gun where you need certain resources to craft that gun. So I like that approach and I hope that approach really works. If it does work, again, we'll know when the game comes out. I really hope they have fleshed things out, because base building was one of my favorite things to do in Fallout 4, even though the mechanics themselves didn't really work. So hopefully with more attention and care, this will work well. Now the next and probably the most hyped thing I have about this game is the spaceship. Now with the spaceship, I just have to say, it is so cool. I like spaceships in video games where I can fly them. So in No Man's Sky, you had that moment where you can literally just lift off from a planet, go to a completely different planet and land there. And with these spaceships, we did see lift off and going out of the atmosphere and then flying in space and actually getting into dogfights. Which also brings me to the point, there is customization for your spaceship. It's not just you fighting, you can actually select what weapon systems you want, what kind of shields you want, what kind of shape you want for your spaceship. So all of these things combined, I feel like there is a good chance that there will be a lot of players who really focus on the spaceship battle and just space exploration in general. I certainly am going to do that. So that is something I am hyped about. Other than that, the last thing that I am actually really hyped about is the different worlds. Now, it is a topic I will cover later as well, and it's in a negative context, but right now, this is a positive context. The worlds that we did see does seem really nice. So the first world, the starting world that we were in, we sort of saw some pirates, we fought some pirates, then we went on to a colony. It was like a futuristic city with, you know, really cool looking architecture and all that stuff. Then we briefly saw a glimpse of a cyberpunk looking city, so like it had some, like, neon signs everywhere, all that, and I really like that aesthetic. And you know, maybe these different cities will bring sort of different flavors with their different factions, so that would be really nice to see. Now that the positives are done, now we move on to the things that are a bit concerning. Now, the first concerning thing that I saw was honestly the plot. The plot seems to be revolving around these 5 artifacts that are scattered throughout the star system, and it just screams MacGuffin hunt for me. With Bethesda games, main stories aren't really completed by majority of the player base. I know I didn't, for the most part, because I completed Fallout 4 in my third attempt at playing the game. I completed Skyrim after I don't know how many attempts. I know I completed it in 2018. So yeah, this is certainly something that happens, but I still would want Bethesda to make a really, you know, convincing plot, and I just don't think this is going to be that, but let's hope I'm wrong. Other than that, a few other things will be one related to the spaceship, which is, will there be manual landing? And now we saw the spaceships taking off. We saw the spaceship dogfighting in space, but we never saw it land particularly. And the only time we saw it go to a different planet, it was using a fast travel thing from the map. So do we actually have the ability to land our spaceship? Actually, do we even have the ability to take off our spaceship? Because we saw an animation to take off. We didn't really see the ship taking off. Like, we didn't see the inside perspective of the ship taking off. So we don't know all of that. And that brings me to my next point as well. Will there be loading screens? Like I said, the cities look really cool, but will there be loading screens in every single interior area, just like every Bethesda game before? Because that would seriously hamper the experience for me. I've said this before, that if this thing continues in Bethesda games, I am seriously going to be pissed off. Because at this point, there is absolutely no excuse to keep doing this. Bethesda is a very well-funded studio. Right now, Microsoft has bought them. They have enough time in their hands, and if they're still using the same engine, and if they're still blaming the engine for not being able to create a continuous open world, I am not buying that excuse anymore. I really hope they have improved their systems, and for their sake and for mine, I really hope there are no loading screens. And even if there are, they are, you know, put sparingly across the world. Like, from traveling from planet to planet, I can maybe excuse it. But in a city, just going inside a building, there being a loading screen every time I go inside a building, that I can't excuse. Now, moving on from that is the combat. Now, the combat in the game, so far from the reveal, or from what we saw, it looks fairly lackluster. The one thing that caught my eye is that you can hover above the ground while shooting, which kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie, but also something that we could have done in Fallout as well. Like, we can do that in Fallout, and with the help of mods, we can also do that in Skyrim. So it's not really something new per se, and honestly, the rest of the shooting that we saw from the gameplay demo isn't really filling me with confidence about the shooting mechanics of this game. Now, let's hope that becomes better, and let's hope that the guns feel really good and the guns feel like they have some impact. So let's hope that happens. Now, the last and probably my most concerning point is the fact that they announced that this game will have like 1,000 planets when under like hundreds of star systems. Now, when you first hear it, it's like, oh, we get more planets, that's cool. But then you start thinking, will those planets actually have content, or will they be just a barren wasteland, or just a flat open map of nothingness? Now, I am someone who has criticized Ubisoft games for this. Like, if you just create a map, and if you just create like empty spaces just for the sake of showing that, oh, I have a big map, I do not like that. Now, a part of me is thinking maybe this is just the end game content. For example, you just finish your story, then you go to these multiple planets, you set up bases, you sort of start base building there, and you set up an outpost, and then you start trading, and you start adding NPCs, and you have a proper settlement there. And I feel like that might actually hold my attention. Now I know this will not work for a lot of people, but for me, building outposts and having a sort of a micromanaged system where you manage all the resources and stuff, it might actually hold my attention for long. So a system like that is good, but as long as Bethesda is actually focusing on the main content, which is the story, the side stories, the character models, the animations, those need to be worked on before you can promise me 1000 planets. In those 1000 planets, you promise me basically nothing. So those are my things that I enjoyed from this reveal, and those are also my concerns that I have from this reveal. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Bethesda is promising a little too much? Do you think Bethesda will be able to deliver? I personally do not think Bethesda is going to deliver on this. I personally think it's going to be a buggy mess, because it is Bethesda we are talking about, and when have their games ever been polished? So yeah, I do think it's going to be a buggy mess, but I do think this is going to be a buggy mess that I will enjoy a lot. So I guess we'll see when the game comes out. As for me, I am excited for this. And well, if you are excited for this as well, like this video, and also do subscribe to my channel, because when this game does come out a year later, I will be covering it. But other than that, I will be also covering other video games. So subscribe to my channel for all that content, and I will leave you guys in peace.